Hey, is it windy where you are or is it still? What if I told you it doesn't really matter? Is the current coming towards you or away from you? What if I said it doesn't really matter? You know, a lot of people are hoping in their life that the wind will be behind them and will take them in the direction that they need to go, but that's just not going to happen. Hi, I'm Tom Griffith from Greater Formation, where I help people, particularly people who are in some way confused or stuck, or they're in transition or headed into a big transition in their lives where it's uncertainty. I help them get clear, get focused, and be fruitful. What I do is I kind of reach into your heart, hold it up in front of you, and help you make the big steps that you need to address so that you can take bold steps into the future. I'm like a football coach for your soul that helps you do what you need to do to go where you want to go. Well, back to my story. See, the conditions don't really matter. As a matter of fact, this is a fake background, right? You know that. It's just an illustration. It doesn't matter the background. What matters is what I'm saying to you right now. In Proverbs 26:13, it says that the sluggard says, there's lion in the street. There's a roaring lion out there. I'm going to stay in and be safe. Or it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 4 and following, it says, whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks to the clouds will not reap. As you do not know the paths of the wind, and you don't know how the body's formed in your mother's womb, so you can't understand really the work of God, the maker of all things. Sow your seed in the morning, in the evening let your hands be idle, for you don't know which is going to succeed, whether this or that, whether both will do equally well. What I want to say to you is that the wind is going to be coming in a lot of different directions, I think, for the rest of our lives. We are in this decade of the 20s that is just going to be more and more conflictive, winds blowing in a number of directions. What you need to do is to learn how to set your sails and set your rudder so that you can stay on course. That's the point I want to make to you. And so you got to discern, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go in your life? What are the burdens or the passions, the motivations in your heart? What are your abilities and your skill set so that where you want to go actually has fit, that others can tell that that's a good fit for you? Where is there unction? That's an old word that talks about kind of like the power of God rising up in you, a sense of unction. Where do you want to go? I want to suggest that the best way to start to get there is chart out a simple path. Now, it's going to be flawed. You're starting out a simple path, just like I want to get to that island in this sailboat. That's a pretty simple path. Now, the wind's going to come in a number of ways. Sometimes I'm going to have to make adjustments, but develop a simple path. And you might need to get the help of a coach or get the help of some truth tellers to help you plan well, but start to do that. See, it doesn't really matter what's happening around you. What does matter is that you stay on course. Sometimes there's no wind at all. And when there's no wind at all, you could be really frustrated or you could enjoy it. And you could do what only you can do, that what you can only do when there's no wind. It might be reading about the direction you want to go in, or it might be praying about it, or it might be gathering some additional resources. There's other times when the wind is behind you, and not only are you going to move on course, you have to like be prepared to accelerate the direction that you're going in. Again, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you're going to where you want to go and you're responding appropriately to what's at hand. Sometimes you're just moving along, nothing big one way or another, moving along, gaining ground, gaining ground. And sometimes the wind is coming maybe either really against you and you need to tack back and forth in order to get there, or the wind's coming from a side and it's pushing you this way or that way. You want to be staying in a direction. Well, I want to encourage you again today that We're headed into crazy days, even more than we've seen so far. Maybe not every day crazy, but this decade is going to be a lot of shift. What's the church and how does it operate? What's government? What's every which way? Finances, everything's going to be rocking. Want to help you get clear. And the best way to do that is to think, where do you want to go? So consider that today. I just wanted to drop that little piece for you. I hope that you find it helpful. Don't worry about the weather. Get out there and go sailing.